The Kuudra boss was the latest boss to be added to Skyblock. It is a very long and complicated boss fight involving shooting cannons to damage tentacles in order to slay the boss and earn a loot chest at the end. That's not what we're going to be talking about today. The loot chest at the end requires a key to open, a Kuudra key, depending on the tier of Kuudra you're doing. These keys are dropped from the mini-bosses that spawn around the island. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can very easily do all of these mini-bosses. Before we do start though, if you could consider subscribing, it would be really epic, as I'm trying to grow the channel, and that would help out a lot. Anyways, let's get on with the video. The setup I'm going to be using for these mini-bosses is a full set of Storm with Maxwell boots, as well as a Hyperion and a Sheep pet. Some of these are possible with maybe leaving out the Hyperion, replacing it with a Midas staff, or you could even try running a Berserk setup. A lot of the tips that I'm going to be giving are like general tips, although I would very much recommend this setup as it is 10 times better than anything else. Anyways, there are 4 mini-bosses that you can fight, one of them being the Bladesoul, the Barbarian Duke X, the Mage Outlaw, and finally, and also the hardest boss, Ashfang, of which I'm currently ranked 89th out of that amount of players. So we're going to start off with Bladesoul. I'll briefly explain how this boss works. Whenever anyone dies, and at random intervals it seems, he spawns these Wither Guards, each with 5 mil health. Each of these, when they spawn, give him an extra percentage of max health. Killing the Wither Guards reduces its max health back down again. Occasionally it will do that attack, instantly killing you when you come into contact with it. So just listen out for this weird wither noise before he does that attack. Again, there's another Wither Guard. Kill it. His health will go down. He also throws out these things, which, when stood upon, will instantly kill you. So, just to recap, he spawns mini-bosses, gives him more health, kill the mini-bosses, health is reduced. Makes sound, spits out a lot of wither skulls, instantly killing you. Gotta watch out for the sound, and not step on these things. Once you've got that under your belt, it's really very easy to kill Bladesoul. I'll just be killing him in just a moment, just to show you how a fight would normally go. Okay, so Bladesoul has spawned. I'm also using a Fire Veil wand, as that increases DPS by quite a lot if you're a mage. If you get low, just back off a bit, maybe Wither Impact if you are using a Hyperion, and go back in when you feel like you're ready to continue. When you're out of mana, it is best to back off. I just don't have enough mana to kill him in one like mana thing, but that's okay. The Gloomlock Grimoire helps a lot with that. Just one hit away. There we go, he's dead. Bladesoul is by far the easiest mini-boss to kill. So there isn't too much more to say about that. I've explained its attacks. You just sort of got to get used to it, and then it'll be very easy. Next on the list is the Barbarian Duke. Barbarian Duke is the worst mini-boss to fight, even worse than Ashfang in my opinion. He just deals a stupid amount of damage and is generally a pain to kill. So I'm going to be adding the Voodoo Doll to the arsenal. It works similarly to an Ice Spray, but just worse, as it only slows the Duke down instead of actually freezes him. So we've got him here. If an arrow hits him, he will be slowed down by a ton, meaning you can relax a lot more when attacking him. My recommendation is just to Voodoo Doll him, and then to spam Hyperion and Fire Veil wand if you're using that as much as you possibly can. He has 2 attacks that I've noticed. One of them is the jumping attack, which you saw just a moment ago. There it is. Where he lands is indicated by that purple ring, and if he is to land on you, you'll be stunned and take a lot of damage. So anyways, there, hit him with the Voodoo Doll. As you can see, he is much slower than he was before. He is still moving though, so you do need to be careful to avoid him. You can't like sit in one block and just do that, or he will attack you. Again, the worst boss to fight. Just absolutely sucks. You basically just gotta repeat this cycle of stuff, waiting for mana to regen, voodoo dolling, and going in until he runs out of health. It takes a very long time, but if you're careful about it, he isn't too hard to kill, mainly just incredibly annoying. Been doing this for around a couple minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes. He's almost dead. Again, absolute pain to fight, but very possible. And I got a magma urchin, nice. So yeah, if you don't have a Hyperion setup, what you can do is get a Berserk setup and a Juju Shortbow / Terminator if you have that. And he takes arrow damage and arrow knockback, so if you bow spam him, get him into this corner and bow spam him, you're able to do a lot of damage to him. I can't really show an example because I don't own a setup like that, but that's also a thing you can do. Anyways, overall, a really annoying boss to fight, but very doable. The next on the list is the Mage Outlaw. It's one of the better mini-bosses. Very easy to kill, especially a Light Mage. I'll explain his relatively complicated attack pattern when he spawns. But before he does, basically there will be a shield around him when he's performing his attacks. If you attack him with the shield, you will basically instantly die, so I'll show you an example of that as well. Okay, so the mage has spawned. One of his attacks is to spawn this beacon. As you can see, I damaged him a bit, and yeah, don't go in that either. He'll be in this blue thing. If you attack him at any point while the blue thing is around him, he'll reflect all of the damage you dealt to him back. He'll also spawn these skulls. While they're active you can't damage him, but if you've killed one, you're once again able to damage him. For this phase, just, you know, dodge the lightning, don't attack him. As a general rule, avoid anything that moves, and don't attack him while he has the blue thing around him. It isn't too hard to understand once you've got the hang of it. So there he's spawning the things, I've killed one, so I am once again able to attack him. And there you go. Oh yeah, this end crystal attack, we already passed it, but that will hit you with quite a lot of damage, so just continue attacking. Yeah, there was an example of the shield. I forgot to move when I had my fire veil active and the shield was there, so he reflected all of the damage I did to him. There it is again. If I shoot him, well, okay, I won't instantly die, but he will do all of the damage I did back to me. Okay, so next on the list is Ashfang, which is also usually classified as the hardest of the mini-bosses. It goes through cycles. Each cycle spawns a number of mini-bosses, if you will, around him. The grey ones will follow you. You need to lead them into the gravity wells, which will spawn in 15 seconds into the cycle. Each cycle also lasts 45 seconds. Dragging them into the thing will spawn a blazing soul, which you can launch to Ashfang, dealing damage. The red ones can only be damaged by ranged attacks, including Hyperion, so keep that in mind. They'll also spawn blazing souls. The blue ones can only be damaged by melee attacks, so I just tend to avoid those. After each cycle, he will drag all of the remaining things back into him and heal. By Ashfang, I'm going to be joined by Doggo, as it's basically very, very difficult to do solo, and it's even pretty difficult with just one other person. I'm going to be taking 2 followers, he's going to be taking 2 followers, and then we're going to focus on the red ones. and we will kill Ashfang. Okay, so what you want to do at the very first is always aggro the followers before anything else, as they have an attack which freezes you, preventing you from using abilities, which is pretty important. Here's a gravity well. You gotta drag them in there. Doggo just absolutely killed himself. What a gamer. Another important note is that you do actually have to aim the Blazing Souls at Ashfang instead of just hit them, which I see quite a lot of people doing, and it's quite annoying. Another thing you have to watch out for is nons like coming into the area and just sort of hitting one of your Blazing Souls in a random direction and then just absolutely dipping. Because yes, that does happen a lot. You cannot damage Ashfang with any normal attack. The only way to damage him is via the Blazing Souls. I should have also mentioned, if you go into the gravity well, you instantly die, and it does suck you in. Blazing Souls will also despawn after a certain amount of time, so you gotta be pretty quick to, you know, hit them in. Again, if you are a hype mage, just don't bother with the blue ones. They are way too much work to kill and just, in general, not worth it. Even if you're not able to hit the souls in time, like you die maybe while there's a soul, it doesn't matter too much, because Ashfang's healing depends on how many of his minions are left, rather than just a flat amount each time. So any kill will always reduce his healing, which is very nice. The healing mechanic is basically why it's impossible to do solo, because you're just not able to kill enough to break even in terms of damage and healing. I'm also using SBE, as it helps quite a lot. It's definitely not essential, but it has some nice timers and waypoints which just make the whole thing just a little bit easier. When you're leading the followers into the gravity wells, always lead them down, because if you try leading them up towards it, they'll get stuck on a ledge, meaning you're not able to get them in, and they're just softlocked there, meaning they're impossible to kill. So that's another thing to keep in mind. One more Blazing Soul and we've killed him. And there you go. Ashfang down. He used to drop enchanted blaze rods, but they removed that, and it absolutely sucks. He also drops these lumino fibers, which are very nice for crafting the fire bill ones, which currently go for 13 mil per. So Ashfang is a money-making method. So that was how to do every single mini-boss. I hope this guide helped you a bit. If it did, please consider subscribing, as I'm trying to grow my channel, and that would help a lot. Anyways, there's nothing left to say, so goodbye.